Hello, good morning everyone. So, nasa last module na tayo for our midterm before mag-exam. So, module 7, this will be the last. So, we will be discussing moral courage. So, bibigyan ko din kayo ng overview kung ano nga ba yung topics under module 7. So, this day, we will be discussing kung ano nga ba yung definition ng courage, yung moral courage, its types, its classification. So, mapagdidiskussan din natin kung ano-ano nga ba yung mga types of courage. And also, kung ano nga ba yung ways or strategies on how to develop our moral courage. And lastly, madidiscuss din natin kung ano nga ba yung connection ng ating will doon sa morality natin when it comes to our moral actions, when it comes to our moral decisions. So let's begin now to our discussion. So define muna natin kung ano nga ba yung courage. So here are some general definitions. So courage is one of the many virtues intrinsic to man. When we say intrinsic, kumbaga natural to us, kumbaga nasa sa atin, nasa loob natin yung virtues na ito, kumbaga nanggagaling sa atin. We actively strive for reaching these values, which is the courage. So, according kay Uncle Aristotle, which is a philosopher, courage is that sits between the extremes of cowardice and recklessness. So, kapag ka sinabi natin courage, kumbaga andito yung balancing element niya. Kumbaga, let's imagine na lang na yung pagiging courageous natin is that asa nasa gitna siya between cowardice. Kapag kasi natin cowardice, kumbaga ito yung pagiging matatakotin or pagiging coward or pagiging ano ba yung other term ng pagiging coward. Basta yon kung ano nga ba yung Tagalog. And also, recklessness. Kapag kasi sinabi nating recklessness, ito yung kumbaga hindi natin iniisip yung mga magiging consequences ng ating actions. Kumbaga nagiging impulsive ka na, nagiging reckless ka na. Kumbaga, you do not consider na yung mga factors. Kumbaga ano yung magiging kalalabasan ng iyong magiging action. So, being courageous is that it is in between the cowardice and recklessness. So, ganun siya. It should be balanced. So courage is the ability to confront fear. Sa pagka sinabi na confront fear, andun pa rin yung fear. Nakakaramdam pa rin tayo ng fear. So pwede nating sabihin na yung isang courageous man o isang matapang na tao, nakakaramdam pa rin siya ng fear. Hindi siya yung absence of fear. Kumbaga hindi na siya nakakaramdam ng fear. Andun at andun pa rin yung fear. It's that kumbaga parang pinupush niya yung sarili niya, andun yung willingness niya na maging courageous. Kumbaga ipakita kung ano nga ba yung mga matatapang na ways or matatapang na mga actions na gagawin niya. Kumbaga it's a matter of choice. So confront fear, pain, danger, uncertainty, or intimidation. It involves facing a situation or taking action despite potential risks or adversity. So yun nga, being a courageous is that kumbaga tinitingnan natin kung ano nga ba yung magiging possible actions ng mga sabihin natin yung mga magiging actions natin. Kumbaga ina-assess natin in every corner. So ganun yung pagiging courageous. Kumbaga iniisip natin kung ano nga ba yung mga potential risks or ano nga ba yung mga potential difficulties na makakaharap natin. So courage often requires a willingness. So ito dapat yung tandaan nyo. It requires a willingness. It's a matter of choice nga. If you want to be courageous, you have this willingness to choose of to choose na maging isang matapang na tao. So basically, so ito nga, being courageous is a matter of choice. So pinipili mo. Kumbaga, hindi siya natural sa'yo. It's just para siyang nati-train. So kaya siya sinabi kong it's a matter of choice. So kung gusto mong maging sabihin natin maging matapang na tao, it's just you have to exercise, you have to initiate yourself na i-expose yung sarili mo sa mga bagay-bagay. So kung hindi ka gagalaw, how are you supposed to enhance yung virtues na ito, which is yung pagiging courageous? So it's a matter of choice. So as a student, marami pa kayong mga bagay na sabihin natin mapagdadaanan or mata-try sa buhay. So, it's up to you. Kung gusto mong ma-enhance yung pagiging courageous mo, you must have this willingness. You must have to initiate into things na kailangan mo. So, that's it. So, yun lang yung, definition ng courage, pagiging, brave natin. So, courage, bravery, or in Tagalog, tapang. And now we will be discussing kung ano ba yung classifications or yung mga types of courage. So first, we have physical courage. So ito yung most traditional and well-known form of courage. So kaya natin nasabi or kaya nasabi nila na most traditional and well-known, ito yung kasi ito yung kumbaga ito yung unang-unang nagma-manifest sa atin. Kumbaga ito yung na-o-observe natin to people na sabi natin matapang or courageous. So kaya siya natawag na most traditional and well-known. So imagine nyo na lang yung mga heroes, sabi natin si Apolinario Mabini. Kumbaga siguro alam niyo naman yung characteristics niya. Let's say isa-isang poster, 'di ba? Ano nga ba yung pino-portray ng isang poster na isang Apolinario Mabini, 'di ba? Para siyang, sabihin natin parang matapang yung, pagkaka-portray sa kanya. So gano'n siya kapagka physical courage. It involves facing physical danger, pain, or discomfort without backing down. So yun nga. So example na lang para mas magets natin yung concept ng physical courage is that firefighters entering burning building. So yun nga, yung mga nakikita nating mga firefighters na kung saan doon pinapatay nila yung mga sunog despite knowing the danger kung ano nga ba yung magiging kalalabasan or despite knowing the risk nung pagpunta nila o yung sa pagpatay nila nung mga sunog. So gano'n siya, para siyang, kino-confront nila yung fear nila, parang ino-overcome nila yung fear nila. So soldiers in combat, yung mga sabihin natin yung mga sundalo during wars or any sagupaan man na kinahaharap nila or individuals rescuing someone from a dangerous situation. Like for example na lang kapagka, may nalulunod and and these people or in this person, kumbaga parang kino-confront niya yung fear niya just to save this, drowning person. So para siyang gano'n. So physical courage, kumbaga it involves physical danger, pain, or discomfort without backing down. So in this, context, it involves not only physical hazards but also mental fortitude to act decisively in dangerous situations. So being physically courageous, hindi lang siya yung, simply just parang yun nga, pinapakita mo lang kung gaano ka kalakas, kung gaano ka katapang. Kumbaga andito rin yung mental strength natin na kung saan dito rin pinapakita din natin kung paano nga ba or ano nga ba yung, isang characteristic ng isang pagiging, physically courageous man. So yun, basta ito lang tandaan niyo, the most traditional and well-known form of courage involves facing physical danger. Or meron din akong, example para mas magets gets niyo pa. Like for example, kapagka yung isang estudyante takot siya sa needles, like for example. And then they have this mandatory na kung saan, iche-check nila yung medical status ng isang bata. And then hindi rin niya maiiwasan yung, sabihin natin yung sa syringe, sa needle, kumbaga itutusok sa kanila yung isang, syringe just to check up kung okay nga ba yung blood niya, para siyang gano'n, parang you face your, fears. So yun. So next, emotional courage is the ability to confront and manage one's emotion. So ito naman, andito yung, emotion naman natin yung involved dito. Our emotions, vulnerabilities, and fears effectively. It involves facing negative thoughts, yung mga sabihin natin hindi magandang mga thoughts or ano tawag dito, basta hindi kaaya-ayang mga mga naiisip natin or yun nga, yung thoughts natin. Overcoming past hurts, yung mga negative experiences din natin sabihin natin in the form of um, siguro past experiences with your loved ones, past experiences with your friends, or yung mga negative past experiences sa mga jowa nyo kung meron man. And embracing vulnerability as a strength rather than a weakness. So dito din, kumbaga kino-consider or kumbaga ini-embrace din natin kumbaga tawag na dito, kumbaga kino-consider natin na pagiging weak sometimes is also a form of strength. Kumbaga para siyang pampalakas loob sa atin. So gano'n siya. So like for example na lang para mas magets natin yung concept ng emotional courage is that seeking therapy or counseling. Kumbaga dito share na natin yung mga um, kumbaga naghahanap na tayo ng mga makakausap, we share our thoughts, especially yung mga negative thoughts natin to somehow mabawasan or ma-alleviate yung mga negative thoughts natin or yung mga negative feelings. Like for example na lang dito, seeking therapy or counseling in the context of our school, you can share it with your teachers or especially sa ating guidance counselor. So ganun siya. Apologizing or forgiving others. So dito naman parang you are freeing yourself dun sa mga negative feelings, yung mga negative past experiences natin. Kumbaga dito parang basta yun, you're freeing yourself about something na hindi na siya nakakatulong sa'yo or expressing genuine emotions openly. So this requires a tremendous amount of inner strength. So inner strength serves our emotions and resilience to confront painful emotions and memories and to take proactive steps towards healing. So ito, kailangan natin maging active when it comes to our healing, when it comes to healing our emotions, when it comes to improving our emotional health and especially mental health and personal growth despite the discomfort or fear involved. So, ayun, physical courage and emotional courage. So, physical courage involving facing physical danger lang. When it comes to emotional courage naman dito, parang involved lang yung ating emotions, facing the negative thoughts, and also, kumbaga pinakakawalan natin yung mga negative thoughts by just simply sharing it with other people or para siyang in order for us na pangalagaan yung ating emotional health. So next is the intellectual courage naman. So intellectual courage involves the willingness to challenge assumptions. So dito, I'll just give an example na lang. Like for example, during discussions, sabi natin ako, may nasabi akong mali. Tapos ikaw naman as a student, kumbaga parang question mo yung nasabi ko. So para siyang ganun, kumbaga you challenge the assumptions. And also, pwede nating i-challenge yung sabi na yung mga established laws. So ganun siya. So yun yung pagpapakita ng intellectual courage. Question established beliefs, yun nga, yung mga established laws, yung mga established rules and regulations sa ating school and pursue truth and knowledge. Kumbaga, you are after truth and knowledge. You are after this, sabi natin, you are after something na sabihin nating maganda or sabihin nating truth. Kumbaga, you gain something from it, even in the face of uncertainty or opposition. So here, it requires critical thinking, open-mindedness, and willingness to explore ideas that may be controversial or popular. So dito, ini-involve na natin yung critical thinking kapag kasi sinabing critical thinking. So yun na, question natin yung mga bagay-bagay, we started to use our reasoning, our logic. So open-mindedness, mahalaga din ito in order for you to become a intellectual courageous. Kapag sinabing open-mindedness, you open yourself dun sa mga, sabi natin, yung mga new ideas, yung mga contradicting ideas, nagko-contradict siya dun sa, sabi natin, yung belief mo. Kumbaga, you must have this open-mindedness in order for you to have this intellectual courage and explore and a willingness to explore ideas. So, for example na lang dito, pagiging curious. Kumbaga, you initiate yourself into new learnings. So, gano'n siya kapagka sinabing intellectual courage. So, dito naman, intellectual courage in students can manifest in various ways, both inside and outside the classroom. So, yun na, questioning authority, for example. Excuse me. So, questioning authority could be in the form of teacher or sa kung ano pa man yung pagiging superior natin or sabihin or pagiging mga basta yung in terms of the authority, yung mga teacher, yung mga superior mo, sabihin natin yung sabihin yung mga um basta yun, yung mga basta they are in the power. So kumbaga kwino-question mo yung authority. Exploring unfamiliar topics, yun nga, yung pagiging curious, you initiate yourself to new learnings, participating in discussion. So dito rin, naipapakita din natin yung pagiging intellectual courageous natin by sharing our thoughts, by sharing our insights to class, especially during class discussions and standing up for academic integrity. So dito ipinaglalaban din natin kung ano nga ba yung sabihin na nating pasok sa principle. Kumbaga kapag kasi sinabing principle when it comes to our academic, kumbaga dito kino-consider natin kung ano nga may yung mga right ways, yung mga sabihin na acceptable ways. Like for example, cheating is not good at all. So kumbaga kasi para mo siyang nilalabanan. Kumbaga you stick with your principles na cheating is bad kasi nga it's unfair. So yun, kumbaga, yun, academic integrity. Kumbaga, you stick with your own principles as a student. So lastly, moral courage. So ito yung magiging focus natin dito sa ating discussion. So kapag sinabi nating moral courage is the courage to stand up for what is right. Kung pinaglalaban mo kung ano nga ba yung sa tingin mo tama. Just, ito yung pinaglalaban kung ano sa tingin mo yung sabihin natin patas or ethical. So ethical kung ano nga ba yung tama in the standard of sabihin natin in a criteria kung baka pinaglalaban natin kung ano nga ba yung tama o yung kung ano nga ba yung mga good ways or acceptable ways in doing sabihin natin in a specific action. When facing opposition, criticism, or personal risk, it involves acting in accordance with one's own principle and values. So kumbaga dito as sabihin natin kapag once you are moral courageous man, kumbaga dito pinaglalaban natin kung ano nga ba yung sa tingin natin tama. Pinaglalaban natin kung ano nga ba yung sa tingin natin in line with our principles. Kapag sinabing principles, yung prinsipyo natin kung ano nga ba yung sa tingin natin tama o mali. So the only difference between intellectual courage and moral courage is that kapag ka sa moral courage, involved na dito yung morality natin. Involved na dito kung ano nga ba yung sa tingin natin tama. And also kung ano nga ba yung sa tingin natin yung mga acceptable ways of doing things. So here, it includes whistleblowers exposing corporate wrongdoing. So nga, ini-expose na natin kasi nga hindi tama yung mga gawain nila. Activists advocating for social justice. So ito nga, siguro nanonood naman kayo ng mga news, yung mga balita na kung saan yung mga rallies, yung mga students nagrarally just to kumbaga ipaglaban yung karapatan nila kasi nga sometimes our government kumbaga hindi na nila nare-recognize yung human rights natin. It's just kumbaga kung ano na lang yung ini-impose nila, yun na. Or individuals speaking out against discrimination. So yun rin. Kumbaga you fight for fairness, you fight for justice. So according kay Aristotle, so na-discuss natin siya kanina. So sabi ni Uncle Aristotle, moral courage is the mean between fear and recklessness. So yun nga yung na-discuss natin. Kailangan once you are morally courageous, you are in between being fearful and being reckless. So kailangan andun yung balance. You still feel nakakaramdam pa rin tayo ng fear and at the same time, andun pa rin yung pagiging reckless natin. But in terms of being morally courageous, kumbaga nababalance natin yung opposing opposing element na ito between fear and recklessness. Kumbaga andun nababalance natin. Those who are unnecessarily and excessively fearful in the face of danger are called cowards. Yun nga. While those who are overconfident and stupid risk takers are called reckless people. But morally courageous man balances fear and recklessness by having both fear and confidence for right reason. So yun nga, we choose to become morally courageous by balancing these two elements, the fear and recklessness. So according naman kay Miller, so moral courage is the commitment to standing up for and acting upon one's ethical belief. So dito nga, kumbaga ipinaglalaban natin, you commit yourself with your principles. Kumbaga you commit yourself so kung ano nga ba yung sa tingin mo tama. Sa kung ano nga ba yung mga ways on how, sabi na yung mga acceptable ways on doing things. Kumbaga, ayun, pinaglalaban mo yung mga ethical beliefs mo, yung mga personal beliefs mo. Regardless sa kung ano nga ba yung magiging consequences, regardless sa kung ano nga ba yung magiging result ng ating action, ng mga actions natin and also our decisions. Basta ipinaglalaban lang natin kung ano nga ba yung sa tingin natin tama. As the willpower to follow what one believes is good or right, moral courage willingly accepts its consequences even it may cost one's or other's life. So dito, kumbaga, um, knowing the risk ng ating actions natin in spite of the difficulties, in spite of the consequences, we still choose to ipaglaban kung ano nga ba yung sa tingin natin tama. So ganon yung definition ni Miller. So for Adelaide Camante naman, moral courage is doing the right thing because simply it is right, especially in the face of opposition. So, same din lang sila when it comes to Aristotle, Miller, and Camante. It's just, kung ginagawa mo kung ano nga ba yung sa tingin mo tama, ipinaglalaban mo despite of the consequences ng magiging action mo. It's just, kung baka priority mo yung pinaprioritize mo kung ano nga ba yung sa tingin mo tama. Ito yung ginagawa mo kasi ito yung tama. So, ganun siya. So, ayun ang definitions ng moral courage. So, if you are, sabihin natin kapag morally courageous ang isang tao, kumbaga nag-i-stick siya dun sa principle niya, kumbaga sinusunod niya kung ano nga ba yung sa tingin niya tama o mali despite of knowing despite of the consequences, despite of the result ng magiging action niya. It's just kumbaga ipinaglalaban lang niya sa kung ano nga ba yung sa tingin niya tama. And they balances yung fear and recklessness. So hindi siya masyadong matatakutin or hindi siya sabi natin takrot in Ilocano and hindi rin siya yung impulsive. Kumbaga andun yung binabalance niya between the fear and recklessness. So now, we will be discussing moral courage, kung paano nga ba natin nade-develop ang ating moral courage, kung paano natin na-enhance and how do we achieve this virtue of moral courage. So first is moral awareness. So kailangan aware muna tayo kasi hindi mo naman ma-enhance ang yung moral courage kapag hindi mo alam yung tama at mali. Hindi mo alam yung difference between them. So kailangan alamin muna natin, kumbaga we stick to our principles sa kung ano nga ba yung sa tingin natin, kung ano nga ba yung tama o mali. Kumbaga ito yung magiging benchmark natin. Kumbaga ito yung magiging standard natin when it comes to making actions or decisions. So it is being able to recognize moral situations and moral dilemmas that involve conflicts between good and bad. So yun na nga. Moral values are principles, good and evil. Kumbaga, it patiently considers everything so that decisions may be empathic and compassionate. So dito pinag-aaralan natin in every corner. So let's back to the classic example yung kay Heinz dilemma. Kumbaga, siguro natatandaan nyo pa yung example natin kay Heinz dilemma. So being morally aware, kumbaga kino-consider natin kung ano nga ba yung mga possible consequences. Kumbaga ina-analyze natin, inaaral natin kung ano nga ba yung situation. So once na naaral mo kasi yung isang sitwasyon, magkakaroon ka ng insight kung ano nga ba yung sa tingin natin tamang gawin or ano nga ba yung mga maling gawin. So, gano'n siya. So, we must be morally aware muna before we develop our virtue, which is the moral courage. So, kailangan aware ka muna kung ano nga ba yung morally good and morally bad actions. So second is the self-discipline. It is a practice of self-regulation. Kapag sinabing self-regulation is just nakokontrol mo kung ano nga ba yung magiging actions, magiging thoughts, and also yung magiging decision mo. So self-control and balance. Andito pa rin yung element ng balance. So kailangan nababalance natin yung ating sarili when it comes to our actions, when it comes to our decisions. So moderation and rejection of instant physical satisfaction or personal benefit. So yun na nga, kumbaga, when it comes to temptations, kumbaga mas nakokontrol natin yung ating sarili and not to resort into this temptation. Kumbaga hindi tayo nahuhumaling bigla-bigla sa um temptations and also when it comes to our desires. Kumbaga andun yung dapat andito yung element of self-discipline in order for us to enhance or to develop our virtue, which is the moral courage. So next is perseverance. It is the inner strength to focus all the energies and behaviors towards a moral goal until it is accomplished. So convictions and choices must be converted into action. Kailangan nag-a-act din tayo sa kung ano nga ba yung kumbaga ano nga ba yung thoughts natin. Kumbaga we act, kumbaga we practice what we preach. So ganun nga. So kapag ka sinabi nating perseverance, I'll just give an examples. Siguro as a student, yung goal natin at the end of our 4-year stay here at the university, our main goal is that makapagtapos tayo. So as a student, despite of facing difficulties, despite of failures, despite of sabi nating adversities, you still continue to stick to your goal. Kumbaga, kahit na nahihirapan ka na, kumbaga andun pa rin yung sabihin na natin, andun pa rin yung promise mo sa sarili mo na makakapagtapos ka despite of the bad experiences dito. During your stay sa university. I mean, kahit na nahihirapan tayo, kahit na maraming failures, it's just we still choose to continue our study. So ganun yung pagiging persevere. Kumbaga, ito yung virtue. Kumbaga, para siyang application na kung ano nga ba yung definition ng perseverance. It's just you continue with what you do despite of the difficulties that you experience. So moral courage means willful perseverance in standing up for one's moral beliefs and principles, even it may cost one's inconvenience, detriment. Kapag kasi sinabing detriment, kung mga nafe-face natin yung mga danger. Kumbaga ito yung kapag kasi sinabi nating moral courage kasi andun pa rin yung element of perseverance. Kumbaga kahit na nahihirapan tayo, kahit na sabi na natin nagko-contradict siya dun sa sabi na nating belief by other people, it's that we still continue to kumbaga isabuhay sa kung ano nga ba yung sa tingin nating tama. Kumbaga, what are the right ways in order for us to live sabi natin magandang pamumuhay or maayos na pamumuhay. So, andun siya, yung kailangan magkasama yung perseverance and at the same time, andun yung moral courage natin. So, perseverance is essentially a co-principle. So, kapag sinabi natin co-principle is just para silang mag-partner. Kung walang perseverance, wala din yung moral courage. Kapag wala yung moral courage, wala ding perseverance. So, para siyang kailangan mag-partner silang dalawa. Without perseverance, one cannot develop moral courage, just as without moral courage, one cannot persevere. So, yun na nga. Kailangan andun yung dalawang element, which is the perseverance and at the same time, yung moral courage. So, kung wala kang perseverance, hindi mo ma-enhance, hindi mo ma-develop yung moral courage, yung virtue ng moral courage. So next, number 4 is the constant practice. Kumbaga dito naman, pina-practice na natin yung mga thoughts, yung mga principles natin, pina-practice na rin natin kung ano nga ba yung mga paniniwala natin sa buhay. Kumbaga, walk the talk, teach what you preach, and live your life. Do what you know, kumpara siyang gano'n. Kumbaga basta andun yung pag-practice, andun yung, pinapakita na natin kung ano nga ba yung, sa tingin natin tama. Kumbaga isinasabuhay natin yung mga thinkings natin, sinasabuhay natin kung ano nga ba yung sa tingin natin mali, sinasabuhay natin yung mga right ways, para siyang gano'n. Kumbaga you practice, you teach what you preach, so parang gano'n. So number 5, making difference. In order to improve lives, one courageously stands to fight irrelevant policies and program. So us bilang isang tao, kailangan mag-start sa atin yung change in order for us to improve. Kumbaga it starts within yourself. So ganun lang siya in making a difference. So 6, emulating beacons of moral courage. So important din yung may sabihin natin mayroon tayong role models in order for us to like for example to enhance our moral courage, enhance this virtue of moral courage. So kailangan meron din tayong model na hinahangaan. Like for example, sabihin sa teacher, yung mga national heroes like for example or sa kung ano pa nga ba. Like for example na lang yung mga parents natin, kumbaga they are the role models in order for us to enhance our um virtue, which is the moral courage. So lastly, number 7, advocating peer support. It ensuring that all those who exercise and moral courage must get a proper support from their peers and leaders. So kailangan andun din yung support. Andun din yung makukuha nating support from other people in order for us parang may reinforce yung sarili natin para mas ma-enhance pa yung ating values, which is the moral courage. So kailangan meron ding taga-suporta sa atin in order for us to continue with this enhancing our virtue. So, andito na tayo sa pinakalas. So, the moral imperative of the will. So, ano nga ba yung ibig sabihin nito? Kumbaga tinitingnan lang natin kung ano nga ba yung importance ng will. When we say will, madi-discuss natin 'yan. Importance nung will natin in living in a morally good life. So, para siyang gano'n. Kumbaga, paano nga ba nakakapag-contribute itong will natin into our morality. So, define muna natin kung ano nga ba yung will. So, will generally refers to the ability to make conscious decisions and intentions decisions, choices, and intentions, and to initiate and carry out actions based on those decisions. So, will simply means para siyang willingness. Kumbaga, ito yung magiging power natin. Kumbaga, ito yung nagiging strength natin. Ito yung nagiging drive natin in order for us to make a conscious decisions. Kapag sinabi conscious decisions is that aware tayo. Kumbaga, alam natin kung ano nga ba yung mga dapat na decisions na gawin natin, choices, and intentions. So, will is the fortitude it takes for one to act or decide according to a personal set of principles. So, ito nga ba yung will natin is yung, ito yung nagsaserve sa atin as a mental strength. Kumbaga, ito yung main driver natin in order for us to act or decide sabi natin, in a specific action. So, yun. So, will is the main driver. So, kumbaga yun yung tandaan natin. The will is our, kumbaga, strength in making a decision. We should be, kailangan aware din tayo sa kung ano nga ba yung magiging action natin. So, yun yung definition ng will. Ito, for example, if you are in a diet and you are able to successfully shake off thoughts of having the slice of pizza you were craving all week, it can be said that your will is relatively strong. So, in Tagalog, kapag, like for example, let's imagine na you set a goal for yourself na magda-diet ka this week. So, ikaw naman, bilang isang committed with your goals for yourself, kumbaga iniiwas mo yung sarili mo yung sa mga temptations, iniiwas mo yung sarili mo dun sa magiging possible actions that will take you away from these goals na sinet mo sa sarili mo. So once na you successfully act on this goal, kumbaga once na na-reach mo na yung goal mo, ibig sabihin nun, you have this relatively strong will. Another example na lang, like for example, sabihin natin during your examination week, ikaw na estudyante, you have this goal na makapasa ka in every subject. So yung ginawa mo, nag-review ka, binasa mo yung mga modules, binasa mo yung mga materials na binibigay sa'yo ng mga instructors mo, and you kept yourself away from distractions. Like for example, yung pagse-cellphone, sa kung ano pa man. Kumbaga nag-focus ka lang dito sa goal mo na kailangan this week magbabasa ako. Kailangan this week basahin ko lahat yung mga modules na dapat basahin in order for me to pass the exam. So once if nagawa mo yon, nagawa mo yung mga sabi mo sinet mong goals para sa sarili mo, masasabi natin na malakas yung will mo, malakas yung driver mo, malakas yung parang nagda-drive sa'yo into act in this specific action. So para siyang gano'n kapagka sinabi nating will. So in philosophy naman, so in this perspective of philosophy, will refers to the inherent power. Kapag sa inherent power, kumbaga natural sa atin. Inherent power or capacity within an agent that enables them to make morally good choices. So will naman, ito yung nagsaserve sa atin as a main driver or a main, sabi natin, strength for us to act in a specific action na kung saan masasabi natin na mabuti ang isang action na gagawin natin. Kumbaga, this will is actually the one that will guide us to act to act accordingly sa kung ano nga ba yung tama, sa kung ano nga ba yung acceptable. So, the will for Immanuel Kant. So, dito naman, madidiscuss din natin yung mga different perspectives ng mga philosophers about the idea of will. So dito, madidiscuss natin yung mga different perspective nila about will. So according kay Immanuel Kant, the nature of the will is foundational to his moral philosophy. According to Kant, the will is the rational faculty. Kapag sinabi rational faculty, yung will natin is actually based on reasoning, based on logic. Within humans that allows them to make choices and and upon act upon those choices. So ito yung will daw yung nag-aalaw sa atin, kumbaga yung nagga-guide sa atin in order for us to act in a morally good way. Kumbaga ito yung nagse-serve as a main driver or main guide sa atin in order for us to to make a morally good decision, morally good action. So Kant contends that the basis of morality, kumbaga saan nga ba nagbe-base yung moralidad natin? Saan nga ba nagbe-base yung sa tingin natin tama o mali? Sa kung ano nga ba yung moral principles natin? So saan nga ba siya nanggagaling? So according kay Kant, nanggagaling daw yung morality natin sa ating reasoning. So based siya doon sa logic. So kapag sinabi nating reasoning or logic, kumbaga sinasagot niya dito, does it make sense? So let's take for example na lang, kumbaga, doon sa moral principle which is the stealing is bad. Does it make sense na kumbaga nagse-sense ba or may sense ba yung parang moral principle na yon? Yes, masasabi natin meron siyang sense. Kapag sa stealing kasi, pwede nating sabihin na stealing is actually bad kasi nga kumbaga kumukuha ka ng something na sabi natin to other people, kumbaga kinukuha mo yung sabi natin like for example yung pera. So yun, kumbaga kinukuha mo yung something that is very important to other people without asking their permission. Kung does that make any sense na stealing is bad? Yes. It does make sense kasi nga hindi mo naman sabihin natin yung stealing might actually cause harm to other people, might actually cause them kumbaga tini-take natin yung rights nila as when it comes to that. So it makes sense. Kumbaga, yun, nagbe-base yung morality natin when it comes to logic and reasons. So therefore, the will should be a good will. So the will to do right thing and it has to come from you. So kumbaga galing sa atin yung sabihin natin yung decision na yun, it comes within us. Kumbaga naka-base siya sa ating reason. Kumbaga very subjective siya. Kapagka sinabi natin gano'n. So, it should be a good will when it comes to doing kumbaga in doing an action. So, kailangan maging pure or maging mabuti yung will natin in order for us to, act in sabihin na nating mabuting, ways of doing things. So, Kant conceived of the will as the faculty of rational agents and enabled them to make a moral choice to make moral choices. So yun na nga. Kumbaga yung rational side natin as a human being, ito yung nagga-guide sa atin in order for us to make a morally good decisions or morally good actions. So yun lang yung tatandaan natin. So according kay Immanuel Kant, yung will natin or sabi natin yung goodwill natin yung magse-serve for us to kumbaga yun yung magse-serve as a guide for us to live in a morally good life. So ganun lang yung idea ni Immanuel Kant when it comes to the will. So he emphasized autonomy, kumbaga andun yung autonomy, kumbaga aware tayo dun sa will natin. Kumbaga tayo yung gumagawa ng decision. Tayo yung nagko-control sa ating will. Basta yun, we are fully aware sa kung ano nga ba yung ginagawa natin um and that is based sa kung ano nga ba yung reasoning natin. Kumbaga, we are fully sabi nating, we are free in making decisions. We are fully aware sa kung ano nga ba yung, magiging actions natin. So, a good will is the one that acts for the sake of duty. So, for the sake of duty din, kumbaga dito yung pinopromote natin yung goodness. Andun pa rin yung, sabihin natin, um, for the greater good. So, kaya siya ganun. So, kaya siya goodwill. We act for the sake of duty. So, in order for us to live a moral life, in a morally good life, we should act in accordance to our goodwill. So, yun yung magiging guide natin in making moral decisions, in making moral actions. So, yun yung tatandaan nyo lang. Hindi natin alam, baka lalabas din to sa exam. So, the will according to Arthur Schopenhauer. So, Arthur Schopenhauer. So, he claims that our life is inherently enjoyable or happy, but that our life is not inherently enjoyable or happy, but instead miserable. So, according sa kanya, so he has this pessimistic thinking about our life. So, sabi niya na our life is actually naturally miserable. So, kumbaga, as a human being, hindi daw tayo, sabi na hindi natural yung pagiging masaya natin. Kumbaga natural sa atin yung pagiging malungkot. As pain vastly outweighs our pleasure. Kumbaga yun nga, mas na-overpower. Kumbaga mas powerful yung force of being miserable compared to pagiging enjoyable or happy. Kumbaga yun lang. Kumbaga we are a miserable human beings. So yun lang yung focus niya. So like any other species, humans are motivated by a universal force called will. So dito sa idea niya, itong will naman yung will naman na ito is that ito yung nagkokontrol sa atin. Ito yung nagkokontrol sa mga magiging actions natin. Ito yung nagkokontrol sa ating thoughts, nagkokontrol sa ating decisions, and also nagkokontrol sa ating buhay in general. So, this universal force, cold will, or will to live. So ito na, will to live, which usually dictates our behavior as more of us are unknowingly enslaved by it. So let's compare this. Kasi dito sabi niya, unknowingly enslaved by it. So kumbaga ito yung force na we are unaware na ito pala yung nagda-drive sa atin. Nagda-drive sa magiging actions natin, nagda-drive. Kumbaga ito yung nagpu-push sa atin in a specific actions. So compare natin kay Immanuel Kant kasi is just aware tayo dito sa will natin. Kumbaga, tayo yung gumagawa ng action. Kumbaga nagbe-base lang tayo dito sa will natin. Kumbaga, we are aware dito sa will natin. Dito naman according kay Schopenhauer or sa kung ano pa man, kumbaga hindi tayo aware dito sa will na ito. Kumbaga we are not fully aware or sabihin na nating hindi natin alam na nag-i-exist itong will na ito. It's just ito yung simply kumbaga nagko-control sa atin in order for us to act. So sabi nga natin kanina, it's just we are naturally a miserable human being. Kumbaga natural na sa atin yung pagiging malungkot. So kaya niya tinawag yung will na ito as a will to live. Kumbaga we strive for something to somehow makompensate itong pagiging miserable natin sa buhay. Kumbaga we strive for we strive for something na in order for us to live a happy good life. Kaya siya tinawag na will to live. So as a pessimistic philosopher, Schopenhauer believed that the will as characterized by insatiable desires. Kumbaga kapag sinabing insatiable desire, kumbaga hindi siya nasa-satisfy. Kumbaga like let's take for example na lang, kumbaga nag-set ka ng goal. And once you reach that goal, parang magse-set ka ulit ng another goal. And once na-reach mo ulit yung goal na yon, kumbaga magse-set ka ulit. Kumbaga hindi siya nasa-satisfy. Kumbaga patuloy siyang kailangan nating i-satisfy. And endless striving leading to suffering and dissatisfaction. So ito na nga. So we have this will to live. Kumbaga ito yung idea, will to live, in order for us to somehow makompensate yung pagiging naturally miserable natin. Kumbaga ito yung magsaserve sa atin as a guide or as a, kumbaga, ito yung magiging driver natin to somehow, or sabihin natin, to reach something. Kumbaga, to feel na parang maging sense of happiness. Kumbaga, ganun siya eh. Kumbaga, itong will to live, ito yung magiging driver natin to reach something. Kumbaga, an endless na para siyang endless strive for happiness. So once kasi na sabi din dito na insatiable desire, kumbaga hindi siya yung hindi siya yung basta-basta nasa-satisfy. Kumbaga kailangan natin siyang patuloy na i-satisfy until we reach this the end na parang andun pa ring dissatisfaction in spite of may nare-reach naman tayo. Andun pa ring dissatisfaction kasi nga para siyang this will to live, parang hindi siya yung nabubusog na sabihin natin a force. Para siyang force na hindi siya nabubusog. Kumbaga we still keep on satisfying this until na nare-reach na yung point na we still do not feel na nasa-satisfy tayo. Kumbaga patuloy at patuloy natin siyang i-satisfy until nagle-lead na siya to unhappiness and unsatisfaction. He emphasized that human existence is marked by inability to fulfill desires completely. So yun nga, hindi natin nare-reach itong specific, kumbaga hindi natin nare-reach 'tong amount of satisfaction natin. Kumbaga patuloy natin siyang itong will to live na patuloy natin siyang isa-satisfy in order for us to live a happy life. But still, yun nga, hindi siya insatiable, hindi siya nasa-satisfy basta-basta. Kumbaga patuloy siyang para siyang nagde-demand patuloy. So hindi siya basta-basta nasa-satisfy, resulting in a pervasive sense of discontent. So andun na nga, kahit na we reach something for ourselves, Kumbaga andun pa rin yung parang magse-set pa rin tayo, kung patuloy tayong nagse-set in a sabi natin specific goal. Once na na-reach mo na yung goal na yon, you still strive for something. Kumbaga we feel discontent sa kung ano nga ba yung, nafi-feel natin kaya tayo, patuloy kumbaga ito yung nagle-lead sa atin into discontent or sabihin nating mas worse na scenario or mas worse na feeling of, pagiging malungkot sa buhay. So Schopenhauer proposed the idea of will as a fundamental underlying force of the universe. He argued that the will is a driving power behind all phenomena. Kumbaga sabihin natin, ito yung main driver sa kung ano nga ba yung sa kung ano nga ba yung mga nagiging actions ng mga tao. Kumbaga kumbaga siya, sa kanya nagsisimula ang lahat. Manifesting itself in an unending striving and desiring evident in living beings. So will to live controls us, and we tend to make poor life choices because of it. So, example na lang, 'di ba? So, imagine yung mga politiko, sabihin natin yung mga corrupt na politiko. Kumbaga they have this um, powerful force which is the will to live. Kumbaga hindi sila nasa-satisfy sa kung ano nga ba yung power na-reach na nila. Kumbaga they still keep on they still keep on, kumbaga nilalamon. Kumbaga para siyang sina-satisfy yung will to live nila without considering na kung tama pa ba yung nagiging action nila. Like for example na lang yung mga sabihin natin yung mga, ah pagnanakaw nila sa kaban ng bayan. Kumbaga patuloy kasi yung will to live nila. Kumbaga patuloy itong force na 'to to, demand something in order for us to feel satisfied, to feel this, contentment in life. But still, hindi pa rin nila nare-reach yung contentment na hinahanap nila. Hindi pa rin nila nare-reach yung, sabihin nating kasiyahan na hinahanap nila. Kasi nga itong will to live na ito, itong will to live na nararamdaman natin is just hindi siya nasa-satisfy. Kahit na anong gawin mo, hindi siya nasa-satisfy. Kumbaga, ito yung, nagiging driving force na sa atin to act sa kung ano nga ba yung sabi na natin yung mga pangit or hindi tama or mga maling gawain just to, satisfy this will to live. Kumbaga ito yung nagiging cause ng ating, sabihin natin yung mga morally bad actions. Kumbaga itong will to live na ito ang nagda-drive sa atin. So in order for us to live a happy and morally good life is to be contented with what do we have. Ito yung prinopose ni Arthur Schopenhauer to somehow, maalis tayo dun sa will to live, maalis yung, sarili natin dito sa will to live na ito, which is, um, unconscious kumbaga hindi tayo aware dito. So sabi niya na kailangan makontento tayo sa kung ano nga ba yung meron natin. Kumbaga we acknowledge or sabihin we appreciate with what do we have. So dito too less will lead to dissatisfaction and too much will lead to dissatisfaction. Kailangan andun pa rin yung, sabihin natin ah the element of recognizing what do we have, the element of being contented sa kung ano nga ba yung meron tayo. Hindi naman masamang maghangad ng marami. It's just kapag ka-excessive na or sobra-sobra na yung, desire natin into something, kumbaga desire to feel happy, kumbaga hindi rin siya maganda. So, kailangan naba-balance din natin. Kumbaga too less naman is just hindi rin maganda kasi nga you're depriving yourself. Kailangan andun yung, sabihin natin andun pa rin yung sabihin natin we reach something for ourselves in order for us to be contented. Kumbaga we should be grateful sa kung ano nga ba yung meron tayo. So yun yung idea rin ni Arthur Schopenhauer dun sa will or sa will to live. So kailangan andun yung sense of contentment natin. So lastly, kay Friedrich Nietzsche. So he defined will as will to power. So ito naman, iba rin naman yung definition niya ng will. So will to power naman. So it is the act of overcoming, reinterpreting, reinventing, creating, enriching, and improving the self without any negative and resentment. It is owning and obeying oneself with pure strength and joy. So itong idea naman ni Friedrich Nietzsche, kumbaga iba naman siya dito kay Arthur Schopenhauer and kay Immanuel Kant. So dito naman yung will to power is just simply not to take power over other. Kumbaga um anong term nito? Kumbaga this will to power para siyang nanggagaling sa atin. Kumbaga for the sense of self-improvement lang, for the sense of actualization and to reach the betterment of ourselves. Hindi siya yung you gain power over other people. Hindi siya gano'n. Kumbaga naka-focus lang siya dun sa sarili mo. Kaya siya will to power in order for reach the greatness, in order for the and also to reach the betterness for yourself. Kumbaga naka-focus lang siya dun sa sarili mo. So Nietzsche's conception of will emphasize individualism. So yun na individualism, naka-focus lang siya dun sa sarili mo. Kumbaga this will to power will allow you to enhance yourself more. Mas nare-realize mo, mas sabihin nating mas ina-acknowledge mo, mas ini-improve mo yung sarili mo in order for you to reach a specific goal for yourself. Self-overcoming, kumbaga ino-overcome yung mga negative side of yourself in order for you to improve, and rejection of traditional moral value. So dito, kumbaga nire-reject mo din kung ano nga ba yung sa tingin mo na-established laws, kung ano nga ba yung sabihin natin when it comes to religion, kumbaga naka-focus na siya dun sa sarili mo. You set your own principles for yourself, for the betterment of yourself, for the greatness of yourself. So thus, the will essentially a development more than or greater than oneself. So yun nga, nakafocus lang siya sa sarili mo. This will to power will allow us to improve ourselves more, improve sa kung ano nga ba yung dapat pang i-improve sa sarili natin. Kumbaga naka-focus siya doon sa sarili natin. Hindi siya naka-focus outside forces, hindi siya naka-focus to other people. Kumbaga naka-focus lang lang siya talaga dito sa sarili natin. So, the concept of Immanuel Kant, Arthur Schopenhauer, and Friedrich Nietzsche is actually different from one another. They vary with one another. So, according kay Immanuel Kant, so let's go back. So, according kay Immanuel Kant, our will is actually based on our reasoning. Kung this will actually allow us to live in sabihin natin, in a morally good life. Kumbaga ito yung magle-lead sa atin into a positive life. Kumbaga dito kay Immanuel Kant, he views life as sabi natin mas optimistic yung view niya about life. Mas optimistic yung view niya about human compared to Arthur Schopenhauer na mas negative yung view niya about life. Kasi sabi niya nga na we are miserable dito sa buhay natin. Kumbaga, yung will to live natin, yung will to live na will in order for us to live a happy life will actually the one that will destroy us. Kumbaga yun yung naka-base dun sa sinabi niya. Kumbaga we are unconscious na nag exist itong will or will to live natin. Kumbaga ito yung nagko-control sa atin, sa ating magiging actions or sa kung ano nga ba yung magiging decisions natin sa buhay. So according kay Arthur Schopenhauer, in order for us to live a happy life and a morally good life, kailangan andito yung sense of contentment. Kumbaga andito yung sense of pagiging thankful sa kung anong mga bang meron tayo. So yun din yung concept ni Arthur Schopenhauer dun sa will. So according naman kay Friedrich Nietzsche, kumbaga naka-focus lang siya sa ating sarili. Naka-focus siya dun sa improvement ng ating sarili. Kumbaga self-improvement or for the betterment or the greatness for ourselves. So yun, magkakaiba sila ng concept when it comes to the idea of will. So yun lang for our module 7. So I hope na mapanood nyo ito and somehow na-explain ko din maayos siguro yung yung module 7 which is the moral courage. So yun lang. Good luck sa inyong exam for next week.